Steam rises off the water where the Ocagua Creek flows into the Delaware River near Deposit, New York. The cooler water that flows into the creek from the Cannonsville Reservoir in the western edge of the Catskill Mountains causes the effect. Michael and Gail Musanti are volunteers for the Delaware Riverkeeper network. They take water samples to monitor for any problems. They're worried about the future of the Ocagua. It's been designated a special protection trout stream by New York State. XTO, a subsidiary of Exxon, wants to draw hundreds of thousands of gallons of water from the stream to be used in the drilling process called fracking. The company wants to extract natural gas from the Marcellus Shale formation that runs through the region.
They don't tell you how many pads, how many access roads, how many compressor stations. For me, the most disturbing part of this debate is what we don't know. They're never very clear up front about the full industrial extent of this.
Although New York State has a ban on any drilling, gas companies have been leasing land in this region. About 1,200 leases have been signed in a two-county area. Many property owners support gas extraction for the financial benefits. Donnie Moore believes he had to go ahead and lease the half acre of land he owns for $1,350 because many of his surrounding neighbors had already signed deals.
We took the money again because, it helped us, and they're going to get it through here one way or the other, whether we allow them access or not. And if we didn't sign up for it, they'd still be able to pull it through.
Environmentalists say, although weak, there are protections in some states that address those fears.
Forced pooling is not legal in Pennsylvania in the Marcellus Shale. And in fact, they cannot take the gas from your property without entering into a lease agreement with you. There are forces in Pennsylvania that are trying to change the law and make it so they can force landowners to enter into a pool or an area that has been leased. But right now, under Pennsylvania law, they cannot do that.
Granville Summit, Pennsylvania is about 105 miles southwest of Deposit, but natural gas drilling is big business here. From January to August of this year, 486 permits have been issued for gas wells in Bradford County. That's the highest in the state. An accident at this well site forced 7 families from their home back in April. Crystal Stroud and her family had to leave their home. The problem? High barium levels in their drinking water. Stroud and her husband had hoped to expand their home and have another child.
We really couldn't go to the bank and say, listen, we need, money for a house that now has contaminated water, and as I've been told before, that is now worth nothing. You know what I mean? So those dreams kind of just got kicked right to the curb.
Stroud began feeling ill a few weeks after drilling began on a property next door to her home. Stroud suffered hair loss, heart palpitations, and breathing problems. A hairdresser, she had to stop working because her hands trembled. Tests showed Stroud had high levels of barium in her blood. Tests of her well water also showed high levels of barium, but the state DEP says it was naturally occurring.
The gas companies also use barium to drill with, an industrial type of barium which is more concentrated than the elemental barium. As of right now, nobody has a test to prove that this is either industrial or this is elemental barium. Right now, they're just lumping them all together and saying, sorry, we can't tell you, where it come from. And until they get those tests, to prove, no, this was definitely industrial barium, not elemental, it's hard to, some of the stuff is naturally occurring and in the ground, but it's miles and miles and miles in the ground. And when these gas companies drill, they bring this stuff back up to the surface, and it comes and it contaminates aquifers.
The drilling company denied responsibility for Stroud's health problems, saying that its nearby well had not yet been hydraulically drilled and that none of the chemicals or metals that Stroud says made her ill were used in the process. Stroud feels betrayed.
Frustrated, used, taken advantage of. I don't want to pay my taxes anymore because I really don't feel like I should have to, being that my government isn't working for me, they're working for the natural gas companies. We've been through hell in the past 4 months.
Stroud's home sits 1,200 feet from where the drilling took place. Pennsylvania law holds drilling companies responsible for contamination 1,000 feet from a well site. Stroud pays $2,500 a month for this water buffalo next to her house.
We know from studies that have been done by hydrogeologist Paul Rubin for the Delaware Riverkeeper network that you can have impacts for many, many thousands of feet, perhaps a mile, from aquifer tests that have been done. We also know from reports on the Pennsylvania DEP website that 2 miles and further from wells that were drilled by Chesapeake in Bradford County resulted in methane being released in the Susquehanna River.
Stroud says the economic benefits of natural gas extraction are being oversold.
Yeah, they might have created jobs for people in Texas and Oklahoma and bring them here to Pennsylvania and don't make them pay our state taxes. But they have done nothing but taxed our county. They have not brought any good to our county. I mean, it's just, I'd give anything to have it back to the way it was. Money is not worth any of this.